Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to the Relationship Cheat Code, where we give you the game to help you to stress less and experience your absolute best in your life and in your relationship. This right here is my lovely, my incredible, my delectable, my beautiful wife, Iana.
Yes, and this is my boo baby, my sweetheart, my confidant, my protector, my everything, Ayize. I like to say your name like that.
You do?
Ayize.
It's got like a little ring to it. Huh? We want to kick off
Yes.
this episode, y'all, by first of all, let me just ask you, how you feeling?
I am good. I'm tired, but Jesus, I say that every day. I'm tired, but I am. I'm always tired. But in a good way, because I felt productive today. Felt like I got through some things and to some things, and I'm always glad to be here with you. And I'm ready to get into it because we have had many a coaching session lately.
Yeah.
And lots of conversations. And there's a theme coming up. And
There
I'm
definitely
excited
is
to be
one.
able to address it today and to talk about it and have some real talk with y'all about some things that we see that need to be addressed.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I got a question.
Okay.
Are you going to ask me how I'm feeling? I'm just saying I asked you how
Why
you
you
feeling.
always
And so
ask
I was just
me
waiting to
back?
see whether or
Is
not
you
you was going to
gonna-
ask me how I'm feeling, or if you just wanted to jump into the topic. Do you want to know how I'm feeling? How are you feeling, Ayize? So I'm
You
actually,
just ask yourself.
I'm actually
You always want to do
trying
that.
to get over a bug.
Yeah, we can hear it.
And you know, my voice is a little bit challenged right now, but I'm gonna make it do what it do. And I enjoy being here with you. This is like a centering space, a grounding space, it's like a warm bath. It's a cleansing space.
This is a warm bath.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a settling space, a cleansing space. And so, again, I'm happy to be here with you, and I'm looking forward to this dialogue.
It's great. Awesome.
So I had to ask and answer my own question.
Yeah, I'm low-key irritated. Like, it's fine. It's fabulous.
But now you brought up something. You said, in these sessions that we've been doing recently. So for those that don't know, we're both trained therapists, relationship coaches. We got a community of folks that we do work with on a ongoing basis, day to day, month to month, and we're helping people. So we're not just on here talking about this.
Right.
Like we true to this in terms of helping other people, but also in terms of our own life. And so one of the things that we've seen recently, one thing I want to lift up is this whole piece around low emotional bandwidth. I'm noticing that element pop up over and over again when it comes to the clients that we work with, when it comes to even our own experience. I know recently we had a situation in which, I was experiencing some stress. We went out to eat and we had breakfast and you noticed that I was experiencing stress. And so what you asked me was, what do I need? And then you raced in to provide comfort and support, booked a hotel room and all of that type of stuff. And so
took care of you.
you took care of me. And so in that moment though, what I was experiencing was a sense of low emotional bandwidth. Just having a hard time processing all of the things and navigating all of the things and so for you to be able to create that safe space for me to express that was like heaven. And then also for me to be able to lean into it was restorative. And so, I thanked you for that. You thanked me and you blessed me in that process as
How
well.
did I bless you, though?
How'd you bless me?
How did you get blessed? I dropped you off at the hotel,
You put a praise on
and then I put something on you.
it. Yeah.
And then walked out of the hotel room, went down in the elevator, like I was in my own little movie, like, I think I did that.
Yeah, you did. You made me shout.
I made you shout?
Yeah. So I was experiencing that, but at different times you experienced that too. So just can you speak to this whole thing around, we're going to get into the other couples, but just low emotional bandwidth and just feeling stretched.
Yeah. I think I'm glad you brought that particular term up first because I think we have to define it. And so like we can all be going along in our lives doing all the things. And sometimes some of us are not aware and sometimes some of us are aware, but we don't know what to do with it. We just get to a place where we're just about ready to tap out. Like I can't take no more. I can't do another thing. It's just too much. It may be, all of the responsibilities and the things that we have going on. And sometimes it's not those things. It's just where we are, like we're just emotionally, mentally in a place that's just rough. I remember this is I don't know if I've shared this in the past. I remember, early on in my career, and this, like y'all, I had a lot of jobs, and I did stay at the jobs, but um, you know, I mean, I probably my longest job of what in a 9 to 5 space was like maybe like 5 years or something like that.
Yeah.
But a lot of them were like 2 years, 18 months, you know, a year, 24 months or whatever. And what I found was happening was as I was going from job to job, I would be like getting to a place where I would be so overwhelmed with like, oh my God, all this work that I have to do and all this stuff they keep asking of me and all these tasks. Now, sidebar, I have ADD. Watch was it the last episode or the episode before that? So that was something that I had to pay attention to, and that was a part of it. But my point is that became a theme for me, and one day I realized, like, wait a minute now. Is it just the jobs? Is it just the people and the responsibilities, or am I the common denominator? And is there something going on with me in terms of my need to tap out because I'm feeling so overwhelmed? And this is starting to become a pattern. This is starting to become routine. So I think what is important to know about low emotional bandwidth is that everybody experiences that at times. You experienced that not that long ago. You needed a moment, right? But there are people. There are couples, there are relationships where that becomes a pattern, where that is not even the pattern of the relationship necessarily, but one person in the relationship is always ready to bounce. Sometimes you're not saying like, I don't know if I can do this, or I think this is about to be done, or I just can't take it, or you know what, if you're going to keep bringing this up or keep saying whatever, then you can just leave, right? You may not be overt like that, but you might just tap out and just shut down.
Yeah.
Stop talking, stop engaging, stop connecting. And really, it's not a reflection of the stressor that you're dealing with. I'm talking to you if this is hitting you, if this is coming on down your street. It's not a reflection of the funkiness of your partner. It's not a reflection of the unreasonable stuff you have to deal with. It is a reflection of your emotional maturity. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah. It is a reflection of your emotional maturity. And I've definitely been one that has had to like learn that over time. And we're just seeing this a lot, y'all. We're seeing this a lot where grown ass men, grown ass women, y'all ain't, I mean, some of y'all's older than us. And y'all are just ready to be done. Because you're continuing to have difficulty, or because your partner doesn't see eye to eye. They don't agree with you, or you feel like y'all should be over something. That one be getting me right there, babe. We like, why we got to talk about this anymore? Like, I'm done with that. Like, that happened a year ago, but clearly it wasn't addressed. And because it wasn't addressed, you know what I'm saying? Like, your partner is still like, I feel some type of way. And you're like, well, you need to be over it, or I'm just done. Where they do that at in a whole lot of relationships with people who have been married for many years, not just people who are dating, not just people who are newlyweds, people who have been married for 10, 15, 25, 35 years. You're still operating emotionally as an infant in your marriage. God dang. Like, that's crazy to me. As an infant, there's been no emotional maturity to recognize that difficulty is par for the course. It is a part of the process, that your partner may seemingly be stuck somewhere that you don't give a damn about, but because they are there, there's something that you need to do and someplace you need to shift to make room for that. And while you think you're accommodating them, meanwhile, you're stretching and you're growing because it's a place that needs to be developed in you. And it blows my mind that people have no concept of this, and they think that the relationship is just there to serve them, that they're not there to serve the relationship, to serve their partner, and to serve the best of what God will do in the relationship and bring out of them. They're just there to get their needs met. They don't think about it that way, but that's literally how people show up. Like, I'm not satisfied. I'm about to be done.
Yeah.
What is this? You had, what is it, Burger King? It should be your way. Yeah. Isn't that what they say at Burger King?
Yeah. Have it your way.
Have it your way. I know I amplified right there and just said a whole lot, but it really, this is like, it's a lot of that going on.
There is a lot of it going on, and here's the interesting piece that, I mean, you just said a mouthful and straight spitting facts and bars and all of that. And so when we see it,
not facts and bars.
Yeah, all of that. So when we see it, the thing that stands out to me, one of our mottos is relationship work is personal work.
Yeah.
And so I like to emphasize that when it comes to being in relationship, it's really important that you slow down and take a look at self.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. And so everything that you just expressed, really reflects the interaction, the interplay, the dynamic that exists between the couple. But what I really want people to focus on is what's going on within self.
Yeah.
And I highlight this because a lot of times we externalize the issue and we make it about the relationship when really it's really about me versus me.
You saying what's on my shirt?
Yeah, exactly.
You
Yeah.
flipped it a little bit.
Yeah, I did. It's really about me versus me. And so
Yes.
I'm battling with self. And so I had a session with a couple, and what was lifted up was that one was struggling with feeling isolated and alone in the relationship, and the other one was focused on and struggling with feeling overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really one and the same in many respects, because the isolation comes with a certain level of responsibility, and the aloneness comes with a certain level of responsibility. Like, I'm doing all of these things, I'm carrying this weight, I feel the stress and the strain and the struggle. And then on the flip side, the other person is saying, like, I feel overwhelmed because they're carrying all of this weight. So each one of them have their own backpack that they're carrying up this mountain. And a lot of times what happens is that when you're carrying this weight, you get angry at the other person because they're not carrying it with you. But here's the piece, though. A lot of times when we speak about like low emotional bandwidth, in order for you to reach a place of restoration, sometimes you just got to shut things off. Sometimes you just got to shut down. Take a time out, pause. And when you take a time out and pause, you also got to have the courage to be able to release some stuff.
Yeah.
And so I think that this whole low emotional bandwidth, really comes from a place of people holding on to baggage, holding on to energies, holding on to past traumas and pains and stuff, when really what's required in order for you to experience a shift is a for real release. And so even in that story that we told about me, going to the hotel, that right there, not only was it me, shutting down and blocking out the external world, but it also entailed a release. And you played a part in that. But
what are you talking about? Like,
but I'm just saying, like,
getting a little-
a release, a release of just some of the stuff. And so I'm emphasizing that because, again, I know women have a hard time with this. Women have a hard time with shutting down, blocking certain things out, and just letting some things go. And you'll see men who are like, but you ain't got to do all of that. Like, you don't have to do all of the things. Like, stop trying to carry all of the weights. Like, I will carry, and I do carry, and there's a sense of, like, you're trying to be a model or a superwoman or, and in some situations, a Superman, and then you end up burdening yourself with these responsibilities unnecessarily.
Yeah.
And so I think that, again, when it comes to relationships, like, this low emotional bandwidth is, yes, because we have all of the things, but what of all of the things can you let go? Can you release?
That's good. That's really good. So I want to flip it a little bit. And even on the other side of that, one of the things that when I was a therapist in a school for kids with emotional difficulties, one of the things we had to always do, obviously, was a treatment plan. And one of the things that was commonly on the treatment plan, because the kids who were in the school that I was a therapist in, they were put out of their public schools and they were in our non-public special education school for whether it was academic or emotional difficulties. They oftentimes had a hard time regulating their emotions, regulating themselves. They was throwing the desk over or, cussing people out, or I'm not doing this or I'm not doing that or whatever. And so, in some way, shape, or form, whether they were shutting down and being quiet and not talking to anybody and going into a shell, or they were, popping off in some way or another, there was oftentimes on the treatment plan that they needed to increase their frustration tolerance. And that has stood out for me, that particular piece, forever, because I would be doing these treatment plans for the kids, and then even as an adult, and I realized, Damn, Yana, you need to learn how to increase your frustration tolerance.
Ba, 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 ba,
No, you didn't.
ba, 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 ba.
You need to increase your frustration tolerance. Like, that's something I need to pay attention to. I need to put that on my self-care treatment plan. You know what I'm saying? Accountability plan.
Say some more.
You want me to say some more?
Say some
I know
more.
you do. I really wasn't trying to talk about me. I was going somewhere with this, but that's something I've had to work on. I mean, anybody who's followed me or knows anything about me knows that I'm pretty transparent about the fact that that's a place that I've had to work. And so when I think about this piece around low emotional bandwidth, yes, you need to be able to learn when to set some boundaries, release some things, let some things go, and not hold on to stuff so that you don't feel so weighed down. But people also need to expand their ability to tolerate frustration. You know, it is amazing to me how many of us have such a short line on our ability to tolerate anything that's oppositional. Meaning if our partner is pushing back, meaning if they are showing up in a way that we don't think is okay, meaning if we just feel uncomfortable.
Or
Like
they,
even
or they're taking too long to get ready.
That's what you was doing today. I look, y'all, Sabra, I told you say, I said, you turning into me as you get older. You know what I'm saying? It has flipped. Normally it's me, and I'm like, you are the one taking forever. You are like literally turning into me. Did you acknowledge? You said that might be.
I did.
I'm like, why are you still in it? Like he's in the mirror. You're looking in the mirror, doing your thing. What do you do with your mouth? You look at yourself like, I'm like looking at him like, I'm fully dressed. Like, what are you doing? You're still like looking at yourself and like combing your sideburns and whatnot. I'm like, what are you doing? You just enjoying, just relaxing, getting ready more these days?
I was just doing me.
I mean, that's really become, you know, it's almost like you just like becomes a self-care process where you know what I'm saying? You get butt naked to get ready. I don't know if you wanted me to say that, but my husband literally, like, you know how we get ready to put stuff on, he'll literally just disrobe everything and then go in the bathroom and lock the doors. And then I'm like coming, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're supposed to be, he like has to fully, you know, unclothe yourself.
Yeah.
So that you can actually like look at yourself in the mirror like,
babe. I'm just being, but hold up. We was
you can
talking
look at
about,
yourself and do your mouth like this.
we was talking about,
And then like start from scratch, like combing it. Like, I don't know why you feel like, why do you have to cut your hair butt naked? I don't know. But I enjoy watching you. I do enjoy watching you. But when we had somewhere to go, I need you to pick up the pace.
yeah. so you need me to pick up the pace, but
Where were we talking about?
we was talking about frustration tolerance, and so I lifted that up.
Oh, because today you feel like I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
So
let's get back on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you told me I was yelling for him, like, come on, it's time to go. And you were
Yeah.
like, don't do that anymore. That's disrespectful.
I had to check you.
You said you told me it's disrespectful to yell up the steps.
Yeah, like, you know, I don't know if y'all, like, some of y'all may have a wife
But you were assigning meaning.
or a woman that you know, you may feel like be trying to get swole on you.
I was not doing
You know,
that.
like just swell up and
that.
you know, like trying to sun you. Like, anybody got a wife where you feel like they trying to sun you? Like,
Wait a minute.
And
What,
so
this is actually helpful. I was downstairs. It was
Yeah.
time to go. You were still upstairs. And I said, I mean,
hold on. Let me tell a story here, because this is right, y'all. This is hilarious. So
I
I'm
really
getting
wanna
ready.
know
I'm doing
what-
everything my wife was saying. So I'm gonna give you credit right there. I'm doing everything my wife was saying.
and I'm fully ready to go.
Getting ready. So I'm not butt naked. You know, I do have
You have
clothes
one sock on.
I got one sock on. Okay. And so my wife peep the microaggression, y'all. Peep the microaggression.
Who, for
So-
me?
Yes. So my wife says, I'm going downstairs to get in the car and I'm turning off the lights.
What is that
Like, what is the
microaggression?
point? What is the point? You see that I'm in the mirror and I'm getting ready. What
I
is
didn't
the point
turn
of
it
you,
off, though.
What is the point of you telling
I was
me?
about
Again,
to,
but
but
it's a
I didn't.
microaggression. What is the point of you telling me that you turning off the lights? Like, what do you think that as soon as you turn off the lights, I'm gonna stop doing? I'm gonna cut the goddamn lights back on. Like, what do you think is gonna happen here? And so my wife, she goes downstairs, and then we got 4 of our children downstairs, y'all.
No,
in
all
the
of them are
kitchen.
there.
Not all, because one is in college.
Guys at school.
Yeah. We got 4 of our children downstairs. And this is what gets me, y'all.
I just yelled.
She's downstairs. I'm upstairs in the bathroom getting situated. And so I hear my wife is like, Ayeezy. She's yelling my name, y'all. And I'm thinking to myself, like, Does she think that I'm a child? This is what you do with children. Like I mean,
I was
some of
not-
y'all know y'all got a mom that would actually yell your name when you behind when
I
you're
didn't
supposed
say
to be
your
getting out.
whole name or
Think about
anything.
when you're going out when you're supposed to be going to church. You're supposed to be going to church and you running a little bit behind, and your mom comes back in the house and she like, easy. And I'm thinking to myself, like, no, she didn't. And so I hear my children downstairs chattering after she says this. And I'm like, do you think that this is going to make me move any faster? And then probably about 3 minutes later, y'all, easy. I'm like, you tripping. So as
I'm just calling you to come on, boo.
But you already said that before you left the bathroom when you was 2
But
feet
now
away
it's
from
like
me.
10 minutes later. You're
Yeah,
still
but you
chilling
only-
upstairs with
so-
2 socks on instead of 1, instead of fully dressed downstairs, ready to go.
So what I need you to do is to bring your ass back upstairs and have
I'm
the
not doing
conversation
that.
with me.
But you
So
did
she's
let me
gonna
know.
yell.
I'm
So I
not going
let
to
my
yell your
wife
name
know.
anymore.
Yeah, don't be trying to sub me like that.
I'm not
So-
trying. So let's just
so-
teaching moment. You're assigning meaning. Let them know.
Let me finish my story.
Oh, are you going to tell them that? though?
So as we're walking down the hallway to get to the podcast studio, I say to my wife, like, don't be doing that. Like, don't be like yelling my name from downstairs to upstairs, like, you know, like I'm your child. Like, what are you doing? Like that, you don't do that. It's not a good look. I'm not feeling that. I feel like it's disrespectful.
You did.
That's exactly what I said. Like, it's disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was receptive. I'll give you credit for that, baby. And so she had a little bit of pushback, but she still said that I was assigning meaning because that wasn't her intention. And I get that.
What's assigning meaning?
Assigning meaning is like me projecting some of my inner stuff and making it about something that it's really not.
I'm just
And so-
calling your ass to hurry up. You like, I'm treating you like
Yeah,
a child.
and so what I'm saying is that like this whole screaming from downstairs to upstairs ain't a good look. So don't do it no more. And so my wife, she was receptive. And I appreciate you acknowledging and saying that she ain't gonna do it no more. And I'm so glad, y'all.
I'm not.
Because
I'm
this
not.
is not the first time that this has happened. This has
Have
happened before.
you?
Yes. This is not the first time that this has happened.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But I'm glad that I said it. And then I asked my wife this question. I said, so if this is a new thing for me, where in my older age, I'm moving a little bit slower, that it's taking me forever to get ready. You know, all right. But what about the first 26 years of our marriage, of our relationship, 18 years of our marriage? Like, you know, if you was the one that was moving slower, did you ever hear me yell at you? Never, Joe.
Yeah, I have to give you. You're right.
I
That's
didn't
why
do
I have
that.
to work. That's why my life
You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I know I'm
working on my
accepting, like,
frustration
this-
tolerance.
Yeah, so what I would do is I would just go
You're
up to her and
right.
be like, boo, come on, it's time to go. You know, I'm not going to yell. She ain't no kid, so I ain't going to treat her as such. Like, and so again, that's me assigning meaning because she's saying she wasn't doing that.
I'm not
And so,
trying
but
to
I'm
treat
just
you like a
glad
kid,
that we
baby,
arrived
but
at
I'm
a
not going to
place.
yell your name anymore.
I appreciate that, boo.
I'm not. Yeah. So just the last part of the story. Just finish that part.
What's the last part?
Remember how you got your yell on when you came downstairs?
Yeah, I was being petty, y'all.
Is it
'Cause
petty?
I'm coming downstairs to get in the car. My wife, she's going upstairs.
I just get something
She's
real
going
fast.
upstairs.
Even
and
though
then I'm
he had been
yelling her
upstairs for a
name.
minute.
I'm yelling her name. Iana. Iana. I'm yelling her name just to be on get back. You know? But actually, when I was doing it, it just felt awkward. Like my voice, my octave
You're
didn't
not a
I don't
yeller
even be
in
doing
any
that.
way.
So it's but yeah, so that
Why
whole
did we
piece
go?
around
What did we go down that
frustration
road for?
tolerance,
Okay.
you know, is real, and it's important to expand or extend that. And so I'm even curious to know that when you're feeling what you're feeling, if I am moving a little bit slower, running behind, and that's not all the time. Like, you know, a lot of times I'll be done before y'all. But you know, if
Back in the
that
day.
is the case, like how are you going to manage that?
We're gonna talk about this like in a whole. You want me to like what?
I just want to know because I mean this is gonna be helpful
No,
to
so
some
for
people
me-
because real talk, like people are going to be experiencing frustrations on a regular basis, and we're talking about expanding frustration tolerance. Then if you can share like how you're going to do it, then it might be helpful for somebody else.
Well, this is a small example. I have a few notes on my phone I want to get into just really quickly to talk about how this looks in some other ways too. But I'm just going to respect what you've asked me to do and not yell your name. This is that simple. So I mean, I think a lot of times some of the
So
things
I had to make the request.
you had to make the request.
That's important.
For sure, because for me,
But you
that
didn't
wouldn't have. I literally said to myself, like, if I used to yell my name, I wouldn't think like you're being disrespectful and you're treating me like a child. I mean, I don't mean to say it like that, but you know, I don't think that, right? But I'm a different person, so I would never think that it would be an issue. I'm just yelling your name. Come on, let's go. So you know, because you made the request, I'm able to honor it, and it's not hard for me to do that. I've got a lot to practice of honoring my husband's request, and I have lots of history of my husband telling me, "You're so disrespectful." It's definitely gotten better over. Matter of fact, I don't feel like you said that in a very long time.
It's
But
been a very long time.
early on, you definitely said I was disrespectful on a regular basis, just because of just me being me. But I had to learn to adjust some things, and then you also had to sometimes be a little more flexible. And we've learned how to, just make room for each other and to honor the request. But here's the thing: a lot of you all are not even making a request. You feel some type of way about what your partner has said, done, not said, not done.
Yeah.
What do they mean by that? You're assigning meaning. You're creating a narrative about it. You're writing your journal about it. You're thinking about it. You're telling your friend. And meanwhile, you have said nothing to them about, you know what I mean? What it is that has happened and how you have been impacted. And you have assigned meaning to what their intention is when, in fact, they are not doing anything intentionally. And that is something that I just want people to think about, because that's important. That's really important.
Yeah. So when we think about this whole frustration, tolerance piece, like when you're experiencing those feelings, a lot of times people, go to a place where they're like so quick and willing to tap out and just be done.
Yes.
Like it really amazes me because, we've experienced. We've experienced, like, over the course of these 28 years of being together, 21 years of marriage, we've experienced a lot of periods and points of frustration where again, we're sharing a situation that we experienced today. But these things, like, I had to have the courage to be able to express what was bothering me. I could have, a lot of times people sit on that stuff, but, I didn't sit on it. I expressed it. And you were receptive. Like you didn't try to hit me with but you do this, but what about this? Like, I think that in many respects, like that receptivity, and it's not like your response is necessarily always butter.
Yeah.
But there's a certain level of openness that's there.
Yeah. And y'all see me raise my hand? I raised my hand because I noticed, I was like, I'll tell you about that later. But anyway, because I want to make sure that I'm letting you finish your thoughts. Sometimes I'm just going out here. And that's what Aise, I was watching one of our podcast episodes. And I was like, Aise, he was talking to stuff. And then I was like cutting you off sometimes. I was like, oh, snap. Like, I need to make. He was like, yeah, that's how you be doing. That's how you do. He's like, oh, really? You just getting clued in? So I'm trying to be intentional now. Like, let me raise my hand so I make my mouth stay closed. But what I wanted to say about what you're just saying is that you said you shared how you felt. You said I was open and I was receptive. But here's the piece that y'all need to know. Aise has not always shared how he felt, how you felt. You've not always done that. It's been, and you don't always do it. But you're light years away from where you used to be. So that's important to know. I have not always been open and receptive. You might tell me something and I'm pushing back. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, no. Or now, even when you share something, I might be like, well, wait a minute. And then it takes me a minute during the conversation to actually shift and be perceptive and receptive, because I might push back a little bit initially. So I'm still light years away from where I used to be. But the point I'm making is that you cannot get to a place in your relationship where you have a flow of communication, where you all can arrive at a place of agreement, sometimes arrive at a place of understanding, at least most of the time, if you don't actually practice it.
Yeah.
So too many of us don't want to get into any disconnect, any funkiness, any, like, I don't feel like dealing with that. So we just don't even make the requests. We don't practice being offended. How you practice being offended? Like, my husband can say something, I'm offended that you would think that was what I was trying to do. But that's what he thought. The world is not going to shatter, Iyanna. You know what I mean? Like, I can hear your feedback, and also have some stamina to endure the conversation, even though it personally feels like it wounds me. If we don't get any practice with that, right, that we actually share, and our partner shuts us down and starts over talking us, and we don't get any practice staying in the ring, so to speak, then we're not going to ever get any better. So I just want to say that, because it's not like we've always been just great communicators. We're just those people. No, Y'all probably already know. Like, Yana, we know you ain't.
Hmm.
You haven't been. So it takes practice. It takes
Yeah.
practice. So I think that's important. I just wanted to say that piece.
Yeah, it does take practice, and a part of that practice has to come when you're experiencing some significant stress. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's relatively easy to communicate and connect in times of peace, but how do you communicate and connect during times of war? And war, figuratively speaking, but I'm referencing when you're dealing with extreme stress,
Yeah.
in externalized stress in terms of dealing with children, dealing with work, dealing with coworkers, dealing with in-laws, dealing with finances, whatever it may be. And so these are the exacerbators that a lot of times lead to the tension inside of the relationship. And these are the things that oftentimes lead people to tap out. And so what I'm saying is that, you know, it's really important that you strengthen that muscle to resist the urge to tap out. Like a lot of us got tap out tendencies, and we need to strengthen our capacity to be able
Yeah.
to endure the stress.
Mm.
Endure the stress. I'm saying this from a space of enduring extreme stress in my life and in my marriage. Like
Mm-hmm.
we're not just talking about this because it sounds good and it's theory. We're speaking about this from a space of lived experience,
Right.
and I'm emphasizing that because I want y'all to know that you're going to experience stressful situations in your marriage, in your relationship, and if we can do it, y'all can do it too.
Mm-hmm.
So the excuse may be, but y'all are trained therapists, and so y'all got the edumacation
Yeah, ain't got nothing to do with
to be
nothing.
able to navigate certain situations. But nah, bruh, nah, sis, it's we human beings too, and so a lot of times the academia will go out the window when this right here starts getting touched and tapped
Mm-hmm.
on.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I'm lifting this piece up because, again, being able to have a certain sense of relationship elasticity is important. Emotional flexibility, frustration tolerance, all of these pieces are critical in order for you to experience like a shift
Yeah.
in your relationship. And this whole tap out tendency, like when you are in that chokehold, which you will experience in your life and in your relationship, like you don't have to tap out, bruh. You don't. You don't have to tap out, sis. You just don't. Like, and I highlight this over and over again because what we see is that a lot of times people, they want the same exact thing.
Right.
They want the connection.
Mm-hmm.
They want the closeness. They want the communication. They want that. Like they really be wanting to like be booed up and be bunned up and bayed up and all of that with their person. But they're blocking
I
themselves.
know. I know. I know. It's crazy. So I think this is a good segue actually to talk a little bit about some of the things that put you at risk, that put
Mm.
relationships at risk
Mm-hmm.
for tapping out.
Mm.
Because we've seen this over a period of time. I mean, we've been doing this work for many, many years. And the reality is that there are certain things that put your relationship more at risk for your tapping out or your partner tapping out and not paying attention to the need to increase your frustration tolerance or whatever and to be able to endure. And so, if any of these things that we share and talk about here hit you and come down your lane, I'm just asking you to look at it because it's a real situation. It's a real thing.
Mm.
So I want to share these things, and my husband will weigh in. The first thing is boredom.
Mm.
Boredom, like when people are bored in their relationships. Of course, we say all the time you should not be checking out mentally, emotionally. Certainly when you start to go down lanes that go down the lane of looking at other people and infidelity and all that kind of thing, right? Like all of that is completely out of order. But when there is boredom, like oftentimes that's because there is a lack of what came up on two of our most recent episodes with the Tillmans and with the Smiths. both of them, if you notice in their episodes when we talked about like what is it, like what do you think the thing is, and they all were like, we're friends, we're like real
Mm-hmm.
friends, we're like genuinely friends, we like really like to be around each other,
Yeah.
we like to hang out, we like to do things together. And so the one thing that I just want everybody to remember is that if you think about your best friend or one of your BFFs or somebody you just go way back with, you can just be yourself with, right? That has to be cultivated. You know what I'm saying? You have to your people who are really close to you. You
Mm-hmm.
actually hang out with them. You spend time with them. You ask them how they're feeling, what's going on. You check on them, and even if you have spaces and times where you're not talking as frequently, there's still intentionality in the
Yeah.
relationship to stay close to them. Like, what's going on in your world? What's happening with you? And couples, because I think because we're around each other all the time, because we're living our lives in the same house, going in and out of the house every day, doing all the things, we can sometimes forget you can be in the house together and don't even know who you with. You can
Mm.
absolutely be in a roommate relationship where it's like we're roommates, but we don't really like mess with each other like that anymore because
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know you anymore. And so the boredom piece has to really be paid attention to. You have to actually still do things together. Me and my husband, oh my gosh, can I just say,
Just don't. Just don't date it.
I know my husband, you know, go try to keep me just whatever. But I am so excited. I am so excited because we recently, you'll be hearing more about this, but we recently were approached by a company to do a brand collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh. And let me tell you, I said at the end of somewhere last year, I was like, I want us to look into doing more collaborations with brands and that kind of thing. But I would really love to do because I see people out here, influencers and the such, right, out here doing these collaborations where they're going somewhere where they're able to spend some time and go on a little vacay and talk about their experience genuinely and all of that. And lo and behold, and I'm talking about this how God be working. My goodness. We've been running to and fro, doing this, doing that. And my husband and I said just a few weeks ago, because we love Big Bear. We're in California, y'all. He said, oh, dang, I wish we could just leave the kids. And we could
Mm-hmm.
just drive to Big Bear and just go be with each other, like up in the mountains and just be. And I have no idea it'll come back. Why the hell I'm telling you all this, but it'll come back. Okay, so but anyway, we received an email, and so a company um, approached us about coming and doing a brand collaboration at a home in Big Bear,
Yeah.
right? And we get to be able to have that space and time together. Oh, I was like, what's the point? Okay, so boredom, right? So I feel like we manifested that because we talked about that a lot, wanted to do that, and so we have this great opportunity. We're like, yes, we'd love to do it. And they're like, great, we'd love for you to come and talk about your experience and capture some moments and so forth. But this is something new and exciting that we get to do,
Mm-hmm.
right? This is obviously connected with our work, but it's something new and exciting we get to do. And we're trying to do these kinds of things all the time. Something different, something new. Let's
Yeah.
go over here. Let's go to this thing. Like, just stretching our boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And I think boredom is something that people they could just get stuck in because you're just doing all that everyday stuff. And you better find something. I usually say no. I keep us out here, do I not?
You do, baby.
Bow, 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 bow. I'm like, we got to do something. We got to have something to look forward to on the calendar.
Yeah.
If all I see is the work, oh, Lord, that's depressing as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to have something fun to look forward to. So pay attention to that. I'm gonna throw the ball to you, babe, and talk about this piece around not having emotional connection, and how that really sets people up. So the first one was boredom. The second one is no emotional connection. When people don't have emotional connection, the tap out is so easy.
Yeah.
We talk about that all the time in terms of people coming to us and they're like, we need to solve this issue. And we're like, no, you need to get connected because you can
Yeah.
solve the issue and still leave each other because y'all don't feel each other,
I mean, that's real talk right there. Like I said recently, in one of our sessions, that there was this couple that was in a heated exchange, and a lot of times there's this tendency to engage. We engage in our default, and so we go back to what is safe for us, what's familiar for us, and what we feel like is transformative for us.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in this particular exchange, one of the things that stood out to me was that while one of the partners was in a space of extreme emotionality And vulnerability, for real, for real, it was met with reason. It was met with logic.
Mm.
And so, again, one partner vulnerable, the other partner is meeting that vulnerability and emotionality with logic and reason. And so there was a disconnect. There was a major disconnect. And so what was lifted up on my part was that, like, what you're saying makes sense. And so, of course, I'm going to validate the perspective. What you're saying makes sense. But the flaw and the erroneous approach that you're taking is that you're speaking to your partner from a headspace.
Right.
What's required is that you speak to your partner from a heart space.
Yeah.
And so this person, they were able to, at least it appeared, to be receptive to that, because when you again, like, you're going to go to your default. And so if logic and reason is where you go, I get the piece around being intellectual, but the emotional aspect of who you are is needed as well. And it's really important. It's actually imperative that you're able to access that part of yourself so that you can connect in with your partner. Like, when that's absent, then it leads to a major disconnect in a relationship. And so some people may say, and again, it's so it's not just about checking the boxes. Checking the boxes is the reason. It's the logic. It's
Right.
the data driven approach to being in a relationship. No, it's what I'm speaking about is beyond that. So yeah, you can actually devise a calendar where you meet with your spouse 4 out of 7 days during a week, where you actually sit and connect and cuddle on the couch. Actually, when you sit next to your partner on the couch 5 out of 7 days during the course of the week.
Mm-hmm.
When you take a shower, you say good morning, and you say I love you 15 times during the course of the week. And so you're checking these boxes and everything. But what I'm speaking about is going beyond checking the boxes, and I'm speaking about the essence of how you be. And so when your partner is able to feel through you doing these things, the connection, it's not just about you sitting next to them, but it's about you putting your arm around them. It's not just about you saying I love you, but it's about you putting your hands on their face and taking a moment of quietness and stillness and really speaking life to them. Like, it's totally different. And so again, when that connection is present, it moves mountains and it melts, some of the most rigid and seemingly impermeable things. Like,
It's magic.
it is. It really is
It's
magic.
magic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I just have to say, I have to shout my husband out, because when I say it's magic, he is the master magician of this right here that he's talking about. My husband, I have said in lots of ways, is my teacher, but probably one of the number one ways Ayize has been my teacher. You have been my teacher in terms of this ability to, like, emotionally attune, to, like, get present, to, like, look at me in my eyes so that I cannot escape the discomfort of, why the hell are you looking in my eyes like that? And now it's like second nature to us and to me. Like you are the goat when it comes to this thing. And so I'm saying that also to say that you may hear my husband sharing about, like, it's not just about checking the boxes. I'm a very analytical person. So I'm analyzing things. I'm thinking about all of the variables. I'm very detail oriented in that way. And that's my strength and that's my gift. But it doesn't diminish me, because I had to learn in some ways how to expand my heart, how to get in touch with my feelings, and how to be emotionally present. And I just think that sometimes, based on, like, where people are in their relationships, if they're too logical or too, emotional, they somehow feel judged. None of it is bad. It's all good, but you have to know when to use those things. You have to know when to lean in and when to lean back, right? Based on what you're dealing with. So, you're the best who ever done it. Da, 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 da. You are. You've been my teacher. I had a few more in here, but I just really want to share. I'm only going to share one more.
Okay, babe.
And then we'll go from there. But the other piece, y'all, this is the other reason why people tap out, that you really need to be mindful of. And this is a big one. And in our world, in our work, we talk about negative sentiment override. Negative sentiment override. What is negative sentiment override? It literally is you are not going to give your partner a break. You're not going to cut them no slack. You're not going to perceive what's coming your way that actually is them making an effort to like put a bid in and show you that they're actually trying to like put a little more effort in. You're not going to even see it or perceive it because the negative energy that you have been perceiving from them, all of the things that they've disappointed you with, all of the funky stuff, they've stacked up. Stack, stack, stack. So when they stack up, then what you're holding in your brain and in your heart overrides the reality of what you're actually dealing with your partner. So the negativity overrides any kind of energy that could be positive that could come forward at the moment. Your negativity and your resentment. Let me get that R word in there. Your resentment, right? You just really want to get revenge. You're upset. You feel betrayed. All of these things that you hold on to, they override the reality of what is really happening in the relationship. So the reason this is important is kind of like forgiveness. How people say you don't forgive for the other person. You forgive for yourself. You need to get that weight up off you. You need to get that burden up off you. The same thing with regards to all of the challenges you've experienced in your relationship, all the negative stuff. You done talked to me any kind of way. You cheated on me. You did this. You did that, right? All of these horrible things. And half the things you've created a narrative around, and you feel like your partner has been coming for you when they really have not been. And all of that stuff stacks up negatively. And so that is something that really puts people in a position where they're ready to tap out, and they don't realize that, about half of that is accurate and half of it isn't. It's just your filter. It's your filter. It's what you're taking things. You're taking things through this filter that is not accurate all the time. And so I just think that that's something that's important to pay attention to as well. So we talked today about this whole piece around low emotional bandwidth, right? Sometimes we get to a place where we're depleted and we need to be able to release and to let go. We need to learn how to know when we need to do that so that our relationship does not get the funkiness from us because we have not figured out that, man, I need a break. I need a moment, right? That's number one. We've also talked about increasing your tolerance for frustration. Your relationship is not here to serve you. It is not here to that's not what the point of a relationship is. I mean, we didn't even really get into that. You know what I mean? But that's not the point. The point is to grow. That's our belief. The point is that there's some things that are going to rub up against me from my husband. Yeah. There's some things that are going to rub up against him from me. There's friction that's going to occur. Friction is not a bad thing. Friction happens, and that's how growth occurs. And we can push each other gently. We can rub up against each other gently and nasty too. But anyway, we can rub up against each other, right? So that we can push ourselves to grow. That's what the point of a relationship is. If you're looking to be satisfied in a way where you can be happy, look to yourself. If you're looking to be happy from your relationship, you done already got it wrong. That's not what it's here to do. And
be careful with that one though.
Okay, speak on it. Why you
No,
saying I need
I'm
to be
just
careful?
saying that because
it's not. You may be really happy, but that is not the point of the relationship.
I know, but I experience happiness in my relationship with you. And so yeah. So when you're with your life partner, your soulmate, your significant other,
am I your soulmate?
Yeah. When you're with that one, then the expectation, I do think, should be happiness. It should be fulfillment.
Man, that's a whole nother podcast right there.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that. So, I just want to, be mindful of, just some of the language in the sense that, because I know what I experience with you. And what I experience is happiness. I experience bliss. I experience next level.
Yeah.
I experience contentment. I experience peace.
Yeah.
I do. And it's real. It really is real. And so, and at the same time, too, in order for me to be able to identify with you, I had to have first been able to identify within me.
Say that again?
In order for me to identify it within you, I had to at first be able to identify it within me.
Identify what? Happiness.
The happiness, yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So we can get real deep because Aize is he majored in didn't he do philosophy and some other things, right? But because I'm with you, but I still take a little bit of a distinction.
Nah, go ahead.
You know, the reason I say that is because I get great joy from my relationship with you. It brings me great joy. It brings me satisfaction, soul satisfaction, for sure. But my happiness, which I don't want to go too deep, but my happiness and how I feel from day to day in my relationship with you is not contingent on how you show up and what you're doing and what you're not doing. You know what I mean? Like it just isn't. Like I may be so I may be bothered and irritated and whatever we got going on, or I may be totally fine and we're like clicking and everything is cool. But one of the things that I know is that my ability to perceive the goodness, my ability to receive the contentment is really predicated on my ability to be able to be in touch with me, and what I'm here to do and what God is looking for from me and all of those things. When that's not happening, it's like when we were in therapy back in the day and I was so frustrated with you, and because I felt like I was, I had things I wanted us to do and places I wanted us to be and things we were behind on. We needed to do this and do that. And the therapist said to me, that sounds, I mean, she didn't say it this way, but essentially what she said is, it sounds like a personal problem, like that's, you're projecting onto Aize some things that you need to resolve within yourself. If you're feeling held back, if you're feeling like whatever, like you need to work on those things on your own. And that was like a light bulb moment for me, where I recognized that, oh, like I'm thinking that you and your growth and your development and the pace that you're moving at is problematic for me. And in fact, you can move at whatever pace you need to, and I can move at whatever pace I need to, and I don't have to be looking to you to satisfy some of those things in order for me to be happy and for me to get what I need. So I could go round, but I definitely understand what you're saying. So you said you want to be careful. This is why it's good to have two people, right? You got a man and a woman. You got two different perspectives, a Pisces and a Leo. But I think that I think it's just important to know that as you run this journey called life, and as you continue down the path of your relationship, first with self and then with the one that you love, at the end of the day, relationship work is personal work.
Indeed it is.
It just is. It just really is. And if you are unhappy, it is so easy to deflect and to say, this is not happening and they're not doing this. But at the end of the day, do y'all know that there is nothing but perception? There really is no reality. Don't let us get real deep on you. There's only perception. And this is why two people can grow up in the same household with the same parents and the same set of circumstances and have two completely different experiences because their brains and their minds receive that information and that situation differently.
Even if you're twins.
Even if you're twins. You know what I mean? So how much of our unhappiness or our frustration and the things that we're dealing with in our relationships and in our lives is about what's happening or is about our mindset? It's about how it is that we respond to it. It's about us pausing and asking, what is it that I'm supposed to be developing in this? Goddamn, I sure wish Aize would get a job, but maybe I'm supposed to be developing patience. That was what I had to learn early on. And Aize might say, I sure wish she would learn to shut the hell up, but maybe I'm going to have to tell her, I'm going to need you to be quiet and listen to me. You know what I'm saying? Like it's bigger than what we think it is. It's bigger than what we think it is. And so love, joy, satisfaction. First of all, you are my soulmate. Be clear. Matter of fact, we had somebody tell us, I know I'm amplifying a little bit, but we had somebody tell us, no, tell me. Because I get readings and stuff, right? I go and get readings. Some of y'all are like, what? You get readings? What does that mean? But I get tarot readings. I've gotten readings from traditional African places of worship, right? And so there are different places you can do this, right? And back in the day, when the sister said y'all have been together in other lifetimes and y'all found each other again, my God, I knew that in my soul.
Mm.
I was like, oh my gosh, you really are my soulmate. We were together before. So you might not always make me happy, but you always bring me joy.
Mm.
And I find it a privilege to be living this life with you. For real, Aize. For real. And I'll never leave you. I'll always be right here with you. Even when we transcend into the heavens, I'll be right there with you, looking for you so we can reincarnate and manifest again together and keep journeying together because you are my soulmate.
Mm.
My
You're my
goodness.
soulmate too, baby.
Ah! All right. Any last words you have for them, sweetheart, boo baby?
Nah, thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of the Relationship Cheat Code.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that y'all got something that was good, that touched your spirit, touched your soul, and you're able to stretch and expand your emotional bandwidth so that you can experience the goodness that your relationship and that life has to offer for you.
Yeah.
Peace, y'all.